Good morning. How about those Bolts, right? My name is Gary Herod. I'm the chairman of the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority and have been fortunate enough to be on this board for almost 9 years. During that time, I've noticed that Tampa has always been a leader in the airport industry, which is why today's announcement should come as no surprise. IME is a team, and they're also gathered here, and they're incredible. I'm grateful for their innovative approach, thoughtfulness, and everything that they do. Tampa raises the bar for all the airports around the country, and even the world, and delivers excellence to travelers like no other airport. I'd like now to welcome our Tampa International CEO, Joe Lopano, who will share today's announcement with you. Thank you.
All right, well, a couple of really monumental things have happened over the last week. First of all, we won the Stanley Cup. But more importantly, there's a new little baby on earth called Cecilia Lopano up in Atlanta. So let's give her a hand. Well, I got to tell you, since the beginning of this pandemic, the team, the people I'm looking out at have been tremendous, extremely flexible, and very innovative. We started out with our first program, which was TPA Ready, in which we tried to create confidence on the part of travelers. And we did that through our cleanliness programs. We changed our protocols. We put spacing on the floors. We used plexiglass. We did whatever we could do to try to help. And our responsibility as good managers is to try to get out of this hole that we're in. And we're going to do that. And this is one more element of that. We're going to build confidence on the part of the traveling public by giving them an opportunity to have a test done right here at the airport before they get on a flight. This is the only airport in the whole country that is doing these tests for anybody going to any destination on any airline. Only TPA is doing this, and we hope others will follow. Testing is the key to getting people back to travel. I want to thank our partners at BayCare. They have been amazing partners for us and done a great job. And we think that this is going to be a very successful trial. This is just a test, but we think that this, if it's successful, and we think it will be, we'll continue and we'll grow it and we'll build it into something more. So I just want to say thank you to my team, thank you to my board, and thank you to all our partners here in Tampa. Thank you all for being here today. And now I'd like to bring up the man who really made this happen, John Tiliakis, and his team. Adam, I think Adam's in the back there. He has been researching these tests for months, and it was their wisdom and their insight that said we can do this at the airport. So I give them all credit, and I thank them for that. And I'd like to bring up John Tiliakis. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Tampa International Airport. As Joe shared, we are very excited to partner with BayCare on this passenger testing pilot. And as you may have heard, many airports around the country are exploring ways to offer testing that makes travel easier and safer for all. This pilot program that we're talking about today is unique, and it's unique in the sense that we are the first airport in the country to offer two different types of tests, the PCR test and the rapid antigen test. And as Joe said, it's for any passenger, whether you're arriving, departing, no matter your airline, no matter the gate, no matter your destination, we can test you. The testing will be available 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The 8 bays that you see in this space to my left and right are the bays where the tests, the PCR test and the antigen test will be administered by BayCare's nurses and medical professionals. Passengers have the option of receiving the PCR test with results within 48 hours or the rapid antigen test that gives passengers results on the spot within 15 minutes. So as an example, if you're traveling to Puerto Rico, we have many passengers that go back and forth between here and Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico requires you to have a negative PCR test within 72 hours of arrival. So you could come out to the airport, you could show us proof of your travel, we test you, you have your results in 48 hours, and by the time you're ready to fly, you're good to go. There is still much work to be done at the local, state, and federal level, and our hope is that this pilot becomes a catalyst for rapid, accessible, and affordable testing for passengers across our country. This is about taking a bold step to restarting air travel. This is about instilling even greater confidence in the flying public, and frankly, it's about breathing life back into our industry that is very badly needed right now. And so at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce BayCare's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Nishant Anand, who will explain to you the difference between the two tests. Dr. Anand?
Thank you. I think Joe said it really well. The Lightning were a great win. We still have two other teams that are in the playoffs, so it's an exciting time for us. You know, from a BayCare perspective, we are really, really excited to partner with the leadership at the Tampa International Airport. The reason is we are both driven by a common purpose. We want to make travel safe for everyone. We want peace of mind. And I just want to share a story. There was, during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic a couple months ago, I was inundated with stories of people who lived in Tampa who couldn't go see their loved ones in other states or other countries. And they may have had health issues, they may have been dying. That is tragic, and that's something that we can do something now that we know more about COVID. We also know that there was fear for other passengers, and they couldn't come and see their loved ones because they were worried they would contract COVID. Well, by partnering together, and I really hats off to Joe and John and the rest of the team. I've been very impressed with all the safety protocols they put in at the airport. When it comes to testing, BayCare, we've tested a couple 100,000 individuals across the Tampa Bay area, and we have developed an expertise that we're going to be helping bring to air travel. The tests that we're going to offer are two tests, like John alluded to. We're going to offer a PCR test. The PCR test is considered the gold standard. It's a test that checks for the genetic material of the virus. It's the one that is the most accurate. The test takes a couple days to come back, generally about 2 days, but it may take a little bit longer in certain circumstances. Most places will acknowledge that and use that as proof that you do not have COVID at the time you were tested. The other test, because we know that people can't always plan and they don't always have the window of 2 to 3 days in advance, we also know that people need a quick test, and so we're going to be offering the antigen test, which is a test, quickly we test the front of your nose. That test, after you get the sample, it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get the results back. Imagine that, 10 to 15 minutes to know that you're not going to have symptoms or you're not going to have COVID at the time. It's a little bit less accurate, the antigen test, and so there is a little bit of a trade-off there, but it is going to be a useful screening tool. If someone's positive, what we are going to do is work closely with the Department of Health in Hillsborough County to notify them, and they'll help make sure. In the end, I think there's a couple things I'd like to leave you with. This is something that's fundamental and foundational to the way that we're going to have to exist going forward. So hats off again to the leadership at Tampa International Airport for taking this challenge on to make air travel safer. We're happy to join with them. I believe that this is going to allow people to travel to see loved ones. It's going to allow other passengers to feel safe if they're traveling. It's going to allow them to know that the people around them have had some sort of screening test done. People have to travel for work, and they've been restricted by that, and we have to get people to be able to go back to their jobs and be able to do that. So this is going to help us in multiple different ways, and this is one step of many that's going to help make airline travel safe again for us. So again, it's been a great partnership, and we're excited to see how things progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anand, for that. We have two very special guests here with us today, and I'd like to introduce our first guest, CEO of Visit Florida, Dana Young, a great friend of Tampa International Airport for many years. She has served in the state legislature for quite some time, has always been an advocate for this airport, and a champion for Tampa International. Dana Young, please.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you to the team that made today possible. This is such an amazing step. I'm Dana Young. I'm president and CEO of Visit Florida, and I will tell you, since the beginning of this pandemic, our goal at Visit Florida has been one, and that is to help our tourism industry recover from what has been decimating. Tourism is the heart, it is the lifeblood of our state economy. And this step here at TIA is a wonderful step in the sense that it gives travelers comfort, it gives them convenience, and it helps them find that safety that they need to start traveling again. Our research shows that right now people are more comfortable traveling close to home, and that is why just before Labor Day, we launched our in-state travel campaign, reintroducing Floridians to the unique, amazing, wonderful things that make Florida special, and teaching people that they don't have to leave the state of Florida to have a life-changing vacation. I'm excited to announce today that next week we will be expanding our marketing campaign to our domestic markets, our key domestic markets on the East Coast. So we are ready to start welcoming people from outside the state of Florida to our state and start rebuilding our tourism economy. Thank you, TIA, for being such a great partner in this, and we look forward to getting Florida's tourism industry back on its feet. Thank you so much. And would you like me to introduce Roger? Or are you gonna, you got him? Okay.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Dana. Our next guest is someone that has really impacted tourism. Dana talked about the importance of tourism for the state of Florida. Many, many, many jobs are at stake, and we have to be successful. From a national standpoint, there's one spokesperson who has been at the White House, has been on TV many times, the president of U.S. Travel Association, Roger Dow.
Well, thank you, Joe. Joe, full disclosure is I work for Joe. He's our treasurer and one of our officers, so I always, when Joe asks, I'm here. And I'm here because it's big news today, big news for the industry. While I work in Washington, D.C., I live in the Tampa Bay area because I can live anywhere, and what a great place to live. This COVID-19, I'm going to put a little perspective on it, and the travel industry has been so badly hurt compared to every other industry. 45% of loss of this year's revenue, $509 billion. But worse is the unemployed, 8 million people out of 16 million in the travel industry unemployed. To put that in perspective, we have 10% of the jobs in the U.S., but we're 40% of the unemployment. Put it in further perspective, during the Great Depression, the highest unemployment rate was 25%. The travel industry has been at 50%. So you can understand how a big problem is. And the other thing with travel, even though you see the big names of the airlines and et cetera, and the travel companies, it's really 83% small business. So the small businesses, especially here in the Tampa area, it's so important to them to get this airport back because travel is really the front door to economic recovery. 54% of Americans tell us they're ready to travel now. There's another 25% say with the right assurances they'll travel, and today's program is one of those that gives them the right assurances. I think this announcement is an important step, and it really will, as Joe and everyone said, assure health and safety for travelers. The protocols are in place in every aspect of travel, whether it's the airport, an airline, a hotel, a theme park, and it's so important to have rapid, reliable, fast testing is so critical, and the whole industry is pushing for that because it really revive air travel and our economy. I have to say, even though I live here and you know it, TIA is always a leader in everything they do, and once again, here they are stepping forward to the first airport in the country to do this and proving that it can be done. Testing should be standardized all over the United States and, quite frankly, all over the world. It's a key to opening up international travel once again. Having consistency throughout the travel journey is what is so important for people to start traveling again. And just as we know, we have consistency with TSA, the same thing has to happen with health and safety standards, which is happening today. So, because that's going to inspire confidence, bring people back to travel, revive our economy and jobs. So on behalf of the U.S. Travel Association, I applaud TIA, Baycare, and everyone for this tremendous job. It's a great step forward, and the rest of the country, I hope, will follow very soon. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Roger. Thanks, everybody, for coming, and we will be available for one-on-one interviews, but that concludes this portion of the program. Thank you all very much.